Hello, fellow humans. My name is Matthias. Welcome to my new experimental format that I call Shitcoin Fundamentals. As you know, this is a startup-y channel, so I will run once in a while some experiments, and this one is one of these. So stay with me and see if you like it, and let me know in the comments below. The idea behind starting this this format is, as some of you may already know, I myself co-founded an IT startup a couple of years ago, so I have somewhat of experience in founding and running a startup. But what many of you, I guess, don't know is that I'm also interested in distributed ledger technologies and cryptocurrencies. And what I understood in the last years and months of investing into cryptocurrency is that cryptocurrency investment is not so much similar to a forex trading or fiat investing or similar things. It's actually more like a micro angel investment into an interesting project to support the founding team to build a great product. So with this in mind, we should actually treat also investing into cryptocurrency like investing into a company. And usually when an angel investor or a venture capital company invests, they look at mainly three things. There's first of all the technology of the startup, there is a team, and there is also the market. So with this format, I exactly want to do that, to look at these three things for selected cryptocurrencies. In some of them, I might be invested, in some of them not. Just to take it up front, I'm not a financial expert. I'm also not a programming expert. That means this is by no means financial advice. It's just my my idea or why I invested or why I didn't invest in a specific project. So let's start it off today with ecash. That is traded under the short name XEC. Yeah, so let's kick it directly off with the technology. So ecash is actually a renaming of the cryptocurrency Bitcoin ABC, which is a minority fork of Bitcoin Cash, which itself is a fork of Bitcoin. So that means generally the underlying technology of ecash is Bitcoin based. That is great because it's used widely and many applications are built on Bitcoin technology. So that means these applications can be also run on ecash. However, there is a general problem with Bitcoin that ecash tries to address. So the idea behind ecash is actually to generate a digital version of cash in two meanings. First of all, as a means of exchange of value, so for trading, buying something, but on the other hand, also as a storage of value. Bitcoin currently is often more seen as a storage of value, so investing into it, putting your money and hodling Bitcoin, but it's not so much seen as a matter of exchanging values, so trading with it. One of the major reasons for this is what I draw it here. I hope you can see it. It's horrible drawing, but I hope you get the point. Bitcoin is super slow. The reason for this is the way that the underlying proof of work consensus way is working. Basically, what happens in Bitcoin is over the period of 10 minutes, all transactions are collected. And then after these 10 minutes are done, in shortest possible amount of time, so the amount of time that this happens has to be very short compared to the 10 minutes before, the block is mined. So that means all of the transactions are agreed upon and put into the blockchain and added. The block is then added to the blockchain in that process. What is good about this is that the blockchain that is connected to Bitcoin includes all transactions that have ever been made on the chain. This is, of course, amazing because that means you can go back in time and look at transactions. You can follow money streams. You can identify, even after a while, fraudulent transactions within the blockchain. So that gives a lot of security, and that means also that new users who enter Bitcoin and get the blockchain sent to them will immediately know all of the history of the blockchain. The negative thing about this is that it takes 10 minutes until, actually in worst case scenario, it can take up to 10 minutes until your transaction is considered went through. That's not a problem if you deal with Bitcoin, like for investment, or if you buy online something. But in case you want to go to the shop and buy a liter of milk with Bitcoin, it's of course very inconvenient if you have to wait at the cashier for 10 minutes that your transaction goes through. Currently, this is solved by having trusted groups or trusted entities that basically facilitate these transactions. But I mean, the sense of Bitcoin is to have a trustless exchange of value. When you again require centralized, trusted organizations to guarantee your transaction, that's not good. So this is actually one of the problems that ecash is addressing. They do this by adding a technology that is called Avalanche. Here it's loading up, which is actually proof of stake based. So proof of stake is, for example, used by Cardano. Currently, Ethereum is adding it to their system out of several reasons. First of all, it requires much less computational power, so natural resources like energy to do so, and it's faster. The problem, however, especially with Avalanche, is that Avalanche is not transmitting the full history of the network, but is basically just exchanging within the nodes the current status, or even a header of the current status with like, hey, this is the current status of the network, trust me. Which is, of course, also not great. Because that means if you get a lot of if you have a lot of nodes within the system, you have to have trusted nodes to get the right state of the current network, which again means that you have to trust these nodes, especially when you enter the system as a new user, which of course again opens the door for some attacks on that way. However, a good thing is less computational power. So what ecash, the guys at ecash are actually doing is combining both of these technologies together to play out their weaknesses against each other and increase their strengths. I will show you this in a moment. I will draw it in here. So basically, you have these 10-minute time frames in which all in classical Bitcoin, in which all of the transactions are collected, and then basically written into the block, which is then added to the blockchain. What the guys at ecash are doing within these 10 minutes, they actually implement the Avalanche protocol. So proof of stake, POS. Sorry for that. That means the chain is working on proof of stake within these 10 minutes increments, which means super fast transaction times below 2 seconds, which is very close to the transactions time of MasterCard or Visa, which is great if you want to pay for something. But then after the 10 minutes, all of these transactions are taken and written into the block similar to Bitcoin. The interesting thing is there that by combining these two, you get the fast transaction of proof of stake based systems, but you also get the security of proof of work based solutions. Additionally, because you have both layers, you also don't require that much computational power in the proof of work part, because it doesn't have to be super secure compared to a Bitcoin, where full security lies within the within the blockchain. Here, basically, the security distributed between the nodes which work on the POS system and the blockchain and the blocks which work on the POW system. So technology-wise, I really like that the project. It's very interesting, and I think it's unique in the sense that, I mean, it's not unique the value proposition, because that's actually the main value proposition that cryptocurrency started with. But so far nobody could deliver on that because they were always short. They had whether scalability issues or transaction time issues. So there's a lot of things that are unsolved, which this cryptocurrency potentially could solve, and could be real means of payment, of real cash payment, digital cash payment in the future. So that brings us actually to the team. As I said, ecash is a renaming of Bitcoin ABC, which by itself is a hard fork of Bitcoin Cash. And also the team consists mainly still of people that contributed also to the Bitcoin Cash project. The main person in ecash is Amaury Séché. He was actually also one of the major contributors into the Bitcoin Cash project. However, there was disagreement within the project. As far as I understand, it was about how further development of the project is financed. As I understand, in ecash, it will be financed through transaction fees, which will basically partly finance the development of the chain, which in my opinion is great, because as an investor in a startup, you always worry about if they run out of money, right? Because it's the worst thing. They're halfway through their development and they run out of money. So by doing this, I think they have a very good stream of money they can use to hire new programmers and work on bigger projects. The rest of the team, as I understand, I'm not fully aware of how many people they are. From what I see online, I can find roughly a team of 4 to 5 people behind Amaury, all coming from the times at Bitcoin Cash. However, they are also currently searching new team members that they want to add in the team in the future. So that is great, mainly developers, front end, back end, and so on. That is very good. What is a little bit missing from my perspective is a little bit the business focus here. It's also one thing that the project is not so great is marketing, which is a little bit missing here. Building up partnerships with other companies, with potential governments that could run the technology. So this is still a little bit missing. However, the team is also still in the beginning, so I think this is easy to solve in that sense, much easier than the technology to figure out. So I think this is something they should work on, and as I understood, they already do. They have recently got the first partnership with an African company that plans to implement the technology into the payment processing. So that's a good start already. Which brings us where we already jumped fully into the market discussion. Yeah, so the major thing is adoption here of that technology, because that will basically live from being run everywhere. Like if you want to pay, you basically use ecash. That's the idea behind it, and the project needs that to exist in the future. One major worry that I personally have is a government regulation. So ecash sets out to replace paper currency as a means of cash exchange. Many governments are already in the process of ending the paper money times out of good reasons, because there's, of course, high level of anonymity within cash payments, which the government, out of many different reasons, wants to avoid. So that makes also, if ecash gets bigger, makes ecash a prime target for government regulation. So this is one of my biggest worries, that can be dealt with by engaging early on with the governments, understanding what are their requirements, how they feel comfortable with this, get good partnerships going. That will protect ecash from any legal problems in the future. So if this is done and they double down on marketing and partnership building, I think there is no reason why there should not be a huge jump in the price of XEC or ecash in the following months and years. So I'm really looking forward. I'm personally invested in XEC because I think it's a good technology. It's a good team, which is also growing, which is a very good sign. And I think if they address regulatory issues, I think then there is no reason why this should not be the next big thing in cryptocurrency. But again, this is just my personal opinion, my personal reasoning, why I invested in the project. Do your own research. There's a lot of information out there, a lot of interesting podcasts and interviews with Amaury and other people from the team. So have a look, and if you decide, welcome to the XEC family. Yeah, see you next time. Please, if you enjoyed this content, like the video. That's very important for me also to keep up my my motivation to do it, and also subscribe to my channel. I will produce that kind of content, I guess not on a weekly basis, because to be very honest, it's quite a lot of work to do it. But I will try to do it at least like every second week or something like that, to show you and tell you about some other interesting cryptocurrency projects, and we go through and analyze them. If you have any questions, if you have any remarks, most probably you have your own opinion. If you have a suggestion for another cryptocurrency that I should do next, just leave a comment below. I'm happy to discuss with you. So see you next time. Bye.